tube. You ready?
Let's do it.
Here it is. Say what up, tube.
What up, tube?
Say hello, tube. All right, and last, but certainly not least, for the show. Y'all ready?
Let's do
Here
it.
we go in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. Woo! What up, ladies and gentlemen? Hernan Cias here, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
The insurance bro, James Cias, and as always, we have another fun-filled, ready-to-go rock and roll episode for you. Happy Take Action Tuesday, y'all. Today, we are excited to bring you a guest who is all about taking action. A remarkable young lady who has accomplished some incredible feats in a very short amount of time. This guest is a business counsel and estate planning attorney, but more than that, she's created a remarkable brand. Her marketing strategy has got her gaining notoriety and so far has landed her on Telemundo, featured in SD Voyager, and now a guest on the Business Bros pod. You've heard of the Lady in Red. All right, leave the karaoke to you, right? Well, today we welcome to the show your attorney in heels from Oropeza Law Viviana Oropeza. Woo! You're right. I need the applause track.
You need the applause track,
I need
right?
the applause track. All right. Well, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
I told you he's got a lot of energy when the mic goes on, right?
Yeah, totally changed, right?
Lights up.
Like, what?
Especially because he's quietly typing away while we're waiting for him to start, and then boom, mic goes on, and there he goes.
All of a sudden.
All right, ladies and gents, before we get talking to Viviana, the attorney in heels, I want to remind you guys, we are an insurance agency. Pipeline Insurance is the name of our agency, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com for all your insurance needs. Remember, we're doing the try before you buy it. We want you to send us the referral. We'll earn the business for you. We'll cross-sell it. We'll grow that business for you. And every month, I'm going to send you a statement showing you what your commission could have been if you get a license. So go to microrust.org, use the promo code business.bros, get your PNC license soon as possible so we can send you those checks. If you do it by December 31st, I'm going to send you every single check all of January, February, March, April, May, June, all the way through December so that you guys have that cash sitting on hand. 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com for more information. And of course, February 13th, I'm going to be speaking at an event called Resolution 2020. Cody Gibson
I did it
is
again.
going to be there. I did keep doing that. It's going to be a premier speaker. You're going to get 90 minutes of NLP. That's neuro-linguistic programming, made famous by Tony Robbins himself, and a top panel of producing real estate agents. I'll be moderating that top panel. So I want you guys to come check it out. February 13th. It's $30 at the door. There's a promo code if you use BOSS2020. We're going to drop the link in the show notes. And make sure to get your tickets as soon as possible. Okay, we'll see you guys there. All right, ready, Viviana?
I'm ready.
First of all, I want to give you a surfboard. It is a bottle opener,
Nice.
branded with Pipeline Insurance stuff. So that way, when you have your next drink, you'll have a surfboard ready to go to pop that thing open.
Crack it open on us.
And I'll think of Pipeline Insurance.
There you go. There you go. Cheap plug. See? That's how we do it.
There it is.
So tell me a little bit about yourself, Viviana. What drove you to this mad industry of becoming an attorney? What was that decision like?
The decision probably started in college early on. I took a little bit of a diversion in between, but eventually got to where I wanted to get to. I ended up getting my MBA along the way in finance, and then eventually I went to law school and did what I wanted to do.
Dude, you are
That
one
is
highly
rad.
educated, smart individual.
Thanks.
MBA in finance.
Yeah, wow.
That's pretty good. So what did you do before becoming an attorney?
I was an investment advisor. I worked up in the Inland Empire with a small consulting firm, and I did the financial side of estate planning, and I worked with people who had small businesses, and people were planning for their financials, their lives, and so when I went into law, like, it kind of felt natural to go on the legal
Continue
side.
on that
Yeah.
same process.
Yeah.
Why an attorney though? Like, I mean, of all the things you could have done, you could have stayed in the financial sector. You had your MBA. Like, why law?
Why law? Law gives you a certain path that you wouldn't otherwise have. Like, doors kind of tend to open up.
A prestige, maybe?
Maybe a prestige, but I would say more like probably a prestige, but more like a legitimacy to a certain extent. You know, there's a lot of financial advisors out there, and they're all trying to make a difference as well. But when you have an attorney on your side who can kind of see all areas of your financial planning and all of that, it's a little bit easier to get in the door with people. They trust you more as a counselor that way.
Yeah, I mean, I trust you more just because you have those, those letters in your name, right? I mean, those insignia at the end, making sure that it's I don't know, like it's more legit, I guess. Like it's almost like the same financial plan. If I went with the CFP, you might offer me the same products a certified financial planner would, but you're at a higher caliber. It's like a tax professional and a CPA, right? Like there's a different kind of level.
And there. I can also produce all the legal documents that your CFP and your CPA can't, And I see all aspects of it, from the moment I was 16 all the way until now. I've been involved in the insurance sector. I've been involved in the financial sector. I've been involved as an investment advisor. So when I sit down with my clients, it's like I can see all of these angles that just like a straight law type of person wouldn't see, because I've been exposed to all of them. I know, your PNC you need to have. I know your life insurances and what they can do for you. I know I understand the finances. I know what your portfolio should probably look like.
Yeah. And I've helped build them.
And I understand it when people bring it in front of me and I'm doing their financial planning as far as their estate plans. Like, I understand the things. I know the difference between, like a 403B and a 457, all of that. Ooh. And as an attorney, that totally makes it, you need to know, what's going to be more valuable when you're, planning your estate plan.
So tell me a little bit about you as an individual. What was it like going to law school?
It was really grueling. It's really hard to even be an attorney as, a female Latina, because only about 2% of all attorneys in the country are female Latinas. So, and it's already a really hard profession to break into because, it's predominantly white. And it's really hard to get in, and then they have all of these loopholes you have to get through. It's like the LSAT, and what is that? What is that? It's an animal in and of itself. Like, I struggled with it a lot. I took it probably 5 times, and those damn logic games really got to me every time. It's like a clown is in line with 4 other clowns behind him. One's wearing red shoes, one's wearing black shoes, and
like puzzle games, like
yes, it really is that way. And for me, it was like I was always thrown off. And then
what are they trying to assess there? Like,
they're trying to assess if you could logically break down things, and it really is puzzles. It's apples and clowns and cars lined up, and so it has absolutely nothing to do with law, but it is one of those loopholes you have to get through. That's before you get into law school, and then when you get there, then that's its own animal.
So just signing up for law school isn't just step one. You can't just decide I'm going to be a lawyer and just go to law school. There's preemptive things, pre-quals or prerequisites that you need to have.
Yeah, you have to have certain prerequisites. You have to have, of course, your bachelor's or some kind of alternative. There's alternative paths, but for the most part, for anyone like me, you have to have a bachelor's degree. You have to get high LSATs, and you have to write an amazing essay that will make you differentiate you.
So this chick, a Latina of all things, decides she's going to break into this industry of attorneys. And so you just decide out of the blue, okay, you have the guts to do this? Or how did you get in the mindset to do that?
Getting to the mindset, it was a long process for me. Most people, they get out of their bachelor's degree, they take the LSAT, and they're like, woohoo, I did amazing, and then they go to law school. For me, it was really hard to do the LSAT, so, you're only allowed to take it a certain amount of time. So I took it 3 times, and it was now you have to wait 3 years before you can take it again. So I did it several times. I'm not ashamed, but I persisted through it. I was like, you know what? In the meantime, let me get an MBA in finance. Let me become an investment advisor. Let me have a baby, and then, keep going.
Damn. So you took life by the balls, basically, and you still kept going with it.
Yeah, I love taking life by the balls. I feel like anytime I'm not moving or making another move, I'm standing still, and that feels like it drowns me. I'm I'm always what's next? It's my brain just doesn't stop. Sometimes.
All right. So the law school took a little 3-year hiatus, but then you got back into the saddle, right? So now you're in law school, and what was law school like, and then getting ready for the bar?
Yeah, law school is torture. They do not care if you have anything going on in your life. They just need you to perform. And at least for where I went to law school, they automatically cut the bottom 20%. So you have to work your ass off to make sure that you're not part of that bottom 20%, because it's all graded on a curve. Like if you have 100 people there, then they will dump the bottom 20 or 25, depending on what they're doing. So you just have to like sink or swim, like
stay at the top of the game.
Yeah,
That's tough.
and it was insane for me because I started law school, and then that next week my dad died. So then I took a plane, flew to Texas, did the whole burying our father, grieving. But I also knew that they don't care. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're like, you
can reschedule and come back another time.
And that's what they told me. They told me, you know what, you should probably take the semester off. And I'm like, no, I can do this. And I pretty much read my case law on the airplane on the way back. And then I landed in Long Beach. Somebody met me there with the car. I drove down to San Diego. I walked into class, and I had actually already told my professor that I was going to be late because I was coming home from my father's funeral. And he was nice about it, even though he was like the most cruel professor. He was nice about it, and everybody knew you could not walk late into his class. So when I walked in, everybody stared at me, and they're like, "Oh, what are they gonna tell her? What is he gonna say? Is he gonna chew her ass out?" But I just walked in quietly, and I sat down. And everybody stared, like everybody's in awe why he didn't chew my ass out. But there's nice people along the way, but they do have their standards. You're only allowed to miss whatever amount of times. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if, your house burned down or your child died or your parents died. They're just like, okay, take a break, get out of school, come back.
So it's true what they say, right? Attorneys are like vampires, right? They're really getting on you over here. Is that the culture that exists?
Yeah, it is a culture. I think, if you read the history of it, it was one of the reasons why they had so many like loopholes that you had to jump through was because they were trying to keep it like lawyers had to be like they were like the elite white. So then it's like anything, like when you're gonna go to college and you take the SATs, and it's like you don't have the same exposure to language as a Hispanic as you would like other kids. So you go in there and you have to know all these these words that you've never been exposed to because your parents speak Spanish. It's not part of your culture, yeah. It's not part of your culture. Your parents speak Spanish, and all they really tell you, like
go to school, mija.
Go to school,
Get
an education, if that, because my parents weren't big on pushing me in education. That was just something that I kind of had in my brain since I was small. But so it's the culture. The culture puts barriers for us in that we're not exposed to how we're going to organize our lives or the language or, just learning a bunch of vocab that you normally wouldn't know.
All right. So law school's tough. It's grueling.
Yeah.
But that's not the end of it. You finish law school and then you got to take the bar exam.
Yeah.
What's the mindset preparation for that? Like, how do you've already feel like you've been through hell, and now you got this other, master, like, I'm thinking of a video game. Like, now you got this boss right in front of you that you got to conquer.
In California, especially because, most people have to take it 2, 3, 4 times before they pass it. So I, for one, knew what I was getting into from the beginning. I always, like, visualized, like, passing it the first time. Like, in my head, from the moment I started law school, I visualized logging into my computer and putting whatever numbers need to go in there and seeing you passed first time, and I was gonna be able to brag and be like, hell yeah, I passed on the first try, and yes, that was me, and actually because of my LSAT scores, a lot of my advisors they didn't think that I would pass the bar at all.
At all.
Not
it was like where you retake it or anything, just at all.
It was like you're not likely to pass it on the first try if at all, and I was like, fucking watch me. And I have 2 kids, so I was like, I planned every single thing that I had to do around it.
How crazy were you with planning? Like, is it like meticulous planning, or just kind of like I'm gonna kind of schedule out a little block in my day, or like?
No, I was up at 4 a.m. and I was going till midnight, 1 o'clock sometimes, and I was sleeping 3-4 hours, and I was up and I was going, and I barely slept. But I had, from the moment I knew I was going to take the bar, I had everything planned out strategically. I had my calendaring done on Excel. I knew exactly what I was going to be doing. I had a suitcase full of, B12. It's like
vitamin B12.
B12 to keep me focused. I think I bought these like brain vitamins that were supposed to like make me smarter. I don't know. Psychological. Who gives a fuck, right? Let's try it. And then I also had it was like flu season because you start studying in December. So it was like I had this bag full of like Dayquil, NyQuil, tissues, water, like the vitamin C, so that if other people are like sick around you, because everybody gets sick for the bar, like you're stressed out, you're going through like the most stressed period of your life, so people start dropping like flies and getting sick. I even had a guy that was next to me who got sick, and I strategically like put all of my books in between our desks so that
built a barrier
so that he and I wouldn't be sitting like right next to each other, so that I wouldn't get sick. I actually did end up getting the flu right before the bar.
Of course, right? Of course. Why would it be any different? I mean, you had the zombie survival kit with you at all times, and yet you still got sick.
Yeah, it was life challenges you, and you just have to learn to roll with the punches. And for me, it was like, well, what am I going to do? And I went out and bought anything that would like numb whatever symptoms I had going on so that I could keep going. Because
test day was here.
Because I was like, I'm going to pass the first try.
That's right.
And people would ask me, they're like, oh, I feel like you're doing really well. You think you're going to pass? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to pass. I was convinced, although most people don't pass on the first try. I think when I took the test, about 25 to 30% of people overall passed the bar. So it's a hard bar.
It's already a big accomplishment.
Yeah.
All right, so you pass the bar. You get to say probably my favorite words of all time, which are, "I told you so." Right? Right? If you're a parent, right? Those are kind of your favorite words.
Yeah.
"I told you so." But you get to come out and say that. Like, you passed the bar on your first shot.
Yeah. That's definitely a big accomplishment for me, specifically because, because everybody, they all look to numbers. Like,
yeah.
Oh, your LSAT's like right here.
Oh, you're Latina,
pobrecita,
2%.
Like,
yeah, it's probably not going to work out. But boom, you give them the finger. You're like, look at what I did, right?
Yeah.
And you could have went and worked pretty much at a law firm, but you didn't. You started your own thing. Why?
It was one of those things where it's like you pass the bar, and then you realize what's in front of you, which is like, oh, you're going to go get a job. I felt bored for a moment. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh, I might get a job.
When the thought crossed your mind?
Yeah. And then I was like, wait, my life's never been that like stress-free. No, the truth is like I have kind of a complex life with my kids, and I needed the flexibility. I couldn't afford to have the 40 to 60 hour weeks and like stuck in an office. I have a son with special needs. He has autism, so it's like I have to be running around, bus, ABA, speech therapy, different things. And, I just have to be able to have a little bit of flexibility to actually like keep my life going other than,
Because you're still a mom.
Yeah.
You're an attorney, you have your own business, but you're still a mom.
Yep.
That's in itself is a full-time job.
Yeah.
Raising 2 kids. Drop the bomb on me.
I like that. The time is 18 minutes and 18 seconds.
Oh.
We interrupt today's regularly scheduled #1 podcast in San Diego for a purely selfish, completely irreverent, sell-out cash grab word from our sponsor. Hernan, what are we selling today?
Tickets to Resolution 2020, ladies and gentlemen, February 13th. It's going to be in the Keller Williams office in Eastlake. Nice little 200 person auditorium, so tickets will sell out. Make sure you guys grab them as soon as possible. You got Cody Gibson, main speaker. We got an NLP, neurolinguistic programming presentation, 90 minutes, help you get a little bit stronger, mentally prepared for what you need to do to keep your resolutions going in 2020. Then we got a panel of top producing agents, which I have the honor of moderating. So that'll be on February 13th. Tickets are $30. Unless you want $10 off, use promo code BOSS2020. Boom.
Very nice. Very
simple,
nice.
quick, and easy. Because I want to get back to...
And now, back to the #1 podcast in San Diego, the Business Bros Pod.
All right, so you get out of law school. You pass the bar on your first try. You get to give all these other naysayers the finger, and you get into your own thing. right? So you got you
Whoops.
paging Gary V.
My bad.
Was that like preparing for the end of the show?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
My bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, got the tunes.
Yeah.
So you have to take care of your family, right? Family first, mom first. So you start your own thing. And earlier you told me about how like in this like lawyer culture, like that professor where you walk in, nobody can be late, everybody looks at you, grabs that attention.
Yeah.
How much of things like that in your life play into the brand you created as an attorney?
Attorneyinheels.com was started because I was building my own practice, and I know that if you're not branding yourself, like nobody's gonna remember you, especially as a solopreneur, solo attorney. Nobody's gonna remember Oropeza-law.com. So I wanted to have something catchy, and I wrote several things down, and I just kind of, I had closed a deal like several weeks before, and I had posted like a face status update on my Facebook, and it was like, closing deals in heels, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually it got to the point where I was like, I could be attorney in heels. And I had a trademark class that I was like, well, I got to make sure nobody else is using it, right? So I did a little research, and then I realized nobody's using it. I'm like, oh, what a surprise, right?
Yeah, no, attorneys are going to brand that way, yeah.
Attorneys do not brand themselves, they have to be pretty,
Dude, there's a very hard stigma in that culture.
There is, and I did get shit from people. I have text messages of people who are like, what is that? Like, that is, because for me, it was like a female empowering thing. It was like, yeah, I'm doing all the shit that other attorneys are doing, but I'm doing it in my heels.
Yeah.
I'm fucking running around, from place to place, getting my kids on the phone, talking to clients, producing what I have to produce, doing everything and in my heels.
I kick ass in heels.
Right. So for me, it was like attorneyinheels.com. So I rolled with it, and I knew that it wasn't going to be easy because it's not, people don't tend to brand themselves. It's not as attorneys. It's very rare.
Well, but let me ask you this. Like the public, I feel like how many women out there are like, yes, that's my girl. That's who I'm going to call. I'm going to call that one right there, the attorney in heels, versus like Oropeza Law. Like they're not going to call that. So from the public's perspective, that's a great thing. We're conditioned to look at the brands. Like, who are we going to associate with? The shit you're getting is not from the public. It's from the inner circles.
It's from the lawyers. I've had comments from like, oh, that's kind of slutty. To which, of course, I responded, oh, well, thank you. And from things like, well, that's not female empowering. And I'm like, well, who are you to decide what empowers me, And just like, comments like, oh, that sounds like a meme website, or, other things that have been said. But
haters are going to hate.
Haters are going to hate. Taylor's websites, right? So I still run with it. I'm going to carry it out full swing. Like, not only did I buy attorneyinheels.com, like my vision is like attorneysinheels.com, where it's like, I want to have this firm full of all of these powerful, beautiful women who either they wear their heels or not. Who cares? Like, it's
beautiful and confident, right?
Confident,
strong,
smart, very knowledgeable women who help other people, accomplish whatever their legal goals are. I'm thinking bigger. Like, it's not attorney; it's going to be attorneys. And
did you buy the S, the plural?
I did.
Yes.
I did. I bought attorneys. I bought lawyers in heels.com. I haven't got lawyer in heels because, somebody's fighting me for that one.
Oh, okay.
But, and then I also recently bought abogada en tacones. And yeah.
You're going the Spanish route?
Yes. I bought abogada en tacones, and I bought abogadas en tacones.
Nice.
So it's, there's a bigger vision behind it. I think besides being like very knowledgeable female professionals, I see it as kind of like a PR move for whomever like hires us. We want to have like a certain aura to what we do, not only being able to accomplish your legal goals or, whatever it is that we're doing for you, but also to be able to carry that weight of like, yeah, attorneys in heels are my law firm. Like, most people don't go around, like most business people don't go around saying like, oh yeah, this is my law firm. Like, they're like, oh yeah, Procopio is my law firm. Like,
yeah, no.
Like, I want people to want to say like, yeah, attorneys in heels are my law firm.
I can see that. I can see that too. Plus, I like the way you have the heel with the A. Like, that's really catchy. Like you can stick that on a shirt, you know what I mean? Like the bulldog, right? That's cool. That's fun. That's branding.
Yeah.
I can totally see your heel with the A. Like that's an easy thing to brand, and it looks fun. Like women
Christina Rounds totally believes in you and tells you could totally have that, your vision. Get it, girl.
Yeah, that's right.
I love Christina. She's one of my favorite people. She's like one of the girls in my tribe who is always cheering for me, and I love her so much. But so Dan from Bottle Fulkerson, he's also one of my cheerleaders. Like I've talked to him several times. I've gone to his firm, and he's all about the branding too. So he's incredibly supportive. When I first came to him and we were talking about like what my brand was, he's like, girl, he's like, I see it. Like I see your vision. Well, and he's like, I get it. A lot of people don't get it, but I see it. Like I can, because he has that same vision,
Yeah.
So,
and that's huge, because I mean, and I tell this to my 17-year-old kids. Like I make them journal, even though it's a math class. I make them journal every day because I want them to get their thoughts, their ideas on paper, so that when they go home, they might have this idea in their head, and they go home, and what do? They tell the person they love the most, mom, dad, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it is, and that person doesn't have the same vision they do, right? So out of love, they try to protect you, and they tell you things like, that's not going to work, you shouldn't do that, right? And they kill your dream before it even has a chance to live, like, and right now you have this vision, and there's people in this world in your circle that can't see past what they do on a daily basis. They can't see past their own desk. They don't understand what you're trying to build, and so they're going to knock you down. They're going to always be those haters in that sense. Dan, on the other hand, he sees exactly what you're going for. You're going to have those people in your life who are always going to be able to see the vision that you have, that see the passion behind what you do, and they're going to be your biggest supporters. But you are going to have to deal with those people in the meantime.
I am going to deal, but like anybody, there's haters out there, and it's not necessarily productive to listen. I mean, when people are giving you like productive feedback, it's important to listen because we don't know everything, and if we close ourselves to listening to people, then we're never going to learn from other people, and we can't always be right. But when it's just criticism, like unfounded criticism, like, oh, that sounds slutty, or it's a meme site, it's like, all right, well, what are you doing? Like,
I wonder how much. See, and here's one of those questions. So, if an attorney tells another attorney, by the way, that sounds slutty, isn't that sexual harassment? Like, who does an attorney go to for that?
Well, it's not necessarily sexual harassment, but it does piss you off.
Hell yeah, it would.
So you would think like, oh, let me sue you, right?
2020, enough with the slut shaming.
Enough with the slut shaming, And yes, I get those comments often because the way I carry myself, like I'm very personable. I love talking to people. When I network, I go and I work the room and I talk to people and I smile, and I flirt a little, but it's just part of who I am, So I'm trying to bring my whole self to what I'm doing.
Yeah. And
that's something that I have committed to doing from the beginning because, when I've talked to like people in my circle, it's always been like, if I was in a law firm, like I have to be this person, like I have to be this, like
you have to represent their brand.
I have to represent their brand. I have to be conservative. I can't go out and sit on a podcast and throw F-bombs like I'm doing today.
Yeah.
I can't be like, fuck you. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I could do it now because I'm running my own thing, and so it's like all about bringing my full self to it. Like obviously, I'm not doing this to offend anyone. I'm not being attorney in heels to like bring down the legal profession.
Yeah,
like some people say.
Like that.
I'm doing it because I am who I am, and I am attorney in heels, and I feel passionate about it, and this who I am. I'm running with it.
All right, speaking of that freedom to do what you want, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Tinder. So tell me a little bit about that post. It's kind of trendy, right? What did you what were you thinking, and how'd you come up with your post?
Well, I actually saw the one that Dolly Parton did. Ariana Huffington Post, I'm sure you've heard. She posted her version on LinkedIn. And when I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is cool. So I went back and I saw Dolly Parton and how she had done her little like 4 pictures of like what each one of the social medias, like how you could be all things at once, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I am everything, right? So I immediately like went to my laptop and I was like, ooh, let's find a good Tinder picture, right?
We always start with the Tinder picture.
Oh yeah, I'm like, because the Tinder picture has to be like sexy and appealing, right? And then the one Dolly Parton had, she's like in like her Playboy bunny suit and she's like hunched over and her ass is sticking out. She looks amazing in it. So I was like, I have to get a good one. So of course I started with the Tinder, and then I kind of started like, I have like the tie photos. Of course, I'm always rocking my heels, even in the tie photos, but I had like a tie photo that a suit and tie that I use for some of my LinkedIn stuff. And then I just kind of worked in the Facebook and stuff, and I posted it. And I did get some people who were like, hey, like, are you really on Tinder?
They're trying to look you up.
And I'm like,
if
no.
So, get out of my DMs. Get out of my DMs.
I'm like, no, I'm not on Tinder. I am not on Tinder, but, it was like all marketing, you play into whatever trends going on, and it was Friday. I was like, fun Friday, like, let's do a little Dolly Parton challenge. So I ran with it, and it was fun,
Dude, that was I haven't actually seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
To be fair. No, I wanted you to describe it because James saw it over there on the laptop, right? He was describing, he's like, dude, that one's dope.
Well, there was two. One was the one that you were describing where you took a picture from your laptop, and then the other one that I was laughing at was just all feet.
Oh yeah, so I wanted to do like an attorney in heels version of it. So then I did like the what shoes, what heels would I wear on LinkedIn? It was like one pair of shoes, and then Facebook another pair of shoes, and then of course Instagram and Tinder. But for Tinder, I bared it all.
Yeah.
I went nude.
Showed all those toes.
I went nude on my feet, and I showed my toes, which is funny because I actually hadn't showed my toes this entire time. I wear a lot of closed toe heels because they're sometimes
more comfortable
to run in, and then
you're running in heels.
Yes, well, my life's a little crazy. So I wear a lot of closed toe heels, and actually I had people in my messenger who had been sending me messages like, hey, how come you never wear open toe shoes? Like,
now they're questioning. They're like,
Anna Maruka says, so hot.
Well, thank you, girl.
That's funny. Every time people post stuff about, their shoes, whatever, especially when it's a woman, you start to wonder, like, what's going on under there? Is like, your toes all jacked up, or what
That's
is it?
Funny. I did have a guy friend who was like, well, why don't you want to show your toes? And I'm like, it's not because I have ugly toes. It hasn't happened, right? I do have open toe heels, but sometimes they hurt a lot.
Is your closet like full of heels?
Actually, no. I'm gonna say I have 20 pairs. I'm not like, I've seen people who have like obsessive.
There's
closets.
a compulsion there.
I usually have like my go-to pair of heels, which are like black heels. And what tends to happen is like I have like 2 or 3 pairs that I wear a lot, and then they wear out, and I throw those in the trash, and then I just get another pair. And then when you have like the occasional like special occasion, you get like the sparkly heels and the open toe and the sandals, and I even have like an orange pair of heels. I bought a green pair of heels because of course St. Patrick's Day is coming up. So
yeah.
I'm like,
so you gotta get ready for March. I mean, you're already in green.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, it just depends on what's coming up. Sometimes I'll buy a pair of heels specifically for the occasion if I'm doing a networking event and I'm getting like a new outfit. But I'm not like obsessive. Like I don't even have the space for it, even if I wanted to. But
yeah, well, raising kids gets a little tough. Tell me what you do to like blow off steam. Like what do you do on a regular basis when you're overstressed? Maybe the kids' life being a mother gets tough. I know my wife, gets some point where she just got to go hang out with the girls. Like, what's it like at your level when you're just like that teapot ready to like? What do you do to blow off that steam?
Usually go for a run. That for me, that's very freeing. I get my best ideas when I'm running. So it's like I run, I clear my head, I put on like a song that really pumps me up, or if I'm angry, like a really angry song, like, fuck you, or
Limp
like
Bizkit.
Yeah,
I got some Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, or something that helps me blow off steam.
Okay, some Metallica too. Yeah, okay, I know. Give me fuel, give me fire.
There you go. That's better.
Okay, there you go. See,
yeah,
I know it.
Or Nirvana, something, depends on what I'm doing. Every time I put on Nirvana, it reminds me, I played Nirvana in my headphones while I was running this like mergers and acquisitions paper in law school. So every time I hear it now, it's like I think back to like mergers and acquisitions.
That's so funny. Like, that's the cool thing about music is you have an emotional attachment to it. Like, something happened at some point in your life, and like that emotion sticks to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's for like the wife and I. It's like Pitbull. Like, Pitbull's coming to town. I don't know how many times, and we've been at that concert. I don't know how many times. And except there's times where. I had too much fun and I didn't make it to see Pitbull. And so, like, ever since then, like, it's one of those things that it's stuck. Like, anytime I hear Fireball, I'm like, no, not Fireball.
Oh, yeah. I've had my, fair share of fights with tequila. He and I haven't been friends for a while, depending on what I'm doing.
That's funny. It's because of Jose that James is even married.
It's a fact.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's an off-air story.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
but Jose Cuervo's my best friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna tell the full details, but I was gonna do her taxes, and her payment to me was gonna be a tequila bottle.
Okay.
And the next morning I went to see it, and the tequila bottle was empty, and I was like, oh, okay, well, my payment is gone. Then I inherited a sister-in-law, so it worked out.
Nice.
Sister cousin-in-law.
Sister cousin-in-law. That's a whole different story.
Oh boy. All
right. Before we get into more drama. Okay, so we're going to move into our segment of Ask the Bros. Okay, so while you think of a question to ask us, James or myself, personal or business, I'm going to remind our audience, Resolution 2020, ladies and gentlemen, is on February 13th. I want you guys to come check it out, learn a little something. Cody Gibson's going to be our main speaker. We got NLP training. We got a top producing agent panel. Got to get my P's right, which I will be moderating, and I'd love to see you guys there. The link's in the show notes. $30. Use BOSS2020 as your promo code to get an extra $10 off. We are in the insurance business, ladies and gents. 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Pipeline Insurance is here to help you grow your wealth today, create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow.
You got it.
All right, let's do this.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Go.
So you guys brought me on here. Obviously, it's giving me some exposure, and you guys provide a service to the community. People bring in, like, obviously this is a help. So what can I do for you?
Oh man, that's always a fun question, huh? For us, it's pretty simple. We would like to write all the insurance business that you come across that you were not going to write. So whether it's P&C or life or whatever you need help with for your clients, we love to be the go-to.
All right, I can do that.
Boom. It's
pretty
easy,
simple.
Huh? Pretty
Yeah.
simple. That's a good one.
Yeah.
What was the question that got asked at the fuck up night the other day that like stumped me? It was like, what question
do you wish people would ask?
What question do you wish people would ask?
You were
So,
like, huh.
That's a good question.
Question about a question.
A question about a question. That's what I felt about your question. What can I help you with? A question about a question. Huh. How do you answer a question with a question? I question it. That's what I do.
Didn't.
I know, pun. Dad jokes. See, when you get my age, that's all that comes out is
What are
dad
you talking
jokes.
about? I am your age.
Oh yeah, that's true. You are my age.
I make dad jokes every once in a while, but
You're not even a dad.
I know. It's the worst part about it, or best part about it.
Do
Depends on how you
do
look.
moms make dad jokes?
Ooh.
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of more of a dirty joke person, but
Yes.
I don't really tell jokes. My daughter's always telling me her little like kid jokes.
And you're like, ha ha ha.
Oh, that's so sweet. Honey. That's so cool.
That was a good try. So that's what you guys both looked at me like. Oh, that was a good effort. Good effort.
A for effort.
A for effort, yeah. And my daughter tries to make up her own. Like she's always trying to.
But they always start with the punchline.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I wanted to say thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Before you go.
And before you go, yeah, I want you to look at this camera right here. Ignore that. You're still on camera. So go ahead and tell people how to get hold of you.
So I can be reached at attorneyinheels.com. There's a button on there that you can schedule an appointment with me if you want to chat about your business or estate planning. And my phone number is 619-836-0505.
Super cool. I'm looking forward to watching your brand grow.
Thanks.
I think it's going to be one of those things that we're living in an age of like woman empowerment, like everything from Jasmine getting extra, women empowerment in Aladdin to like those superhero scenes in the Avengers movies. Like it's the era of women power like that.
Went to watch Little Women last night.
How was it?
Full of Little Women.
You gotta read the book.
You gotta read the book.
No, I just watched the movie. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a lot of those feminine undertones.
Yeah,
and
we got Black Widow coming out here soon.
Yes.
Like a lot of women empowerment. Like I feel like the culture of that exists in your circle is being broken down brick by brick, and by people like you who come out here and take a foot and say, look, this is me, bitch, like it or not.
Right. And women have had it hard for a while, so
kind of a
and
while.
it still is.
It's still tough.
For a long time, we were like our husband's property, and I mean, I just finished reading Pride and Prejudice, and I'm just like, so angry.
So I feel sorry for your husband. Now you're gonna come home. Why are you mad at me? Because I read this book.
And it's funny because you're grateful for where you are, but then you can see like where it can go. So.
Yeah. And you are going places, madam. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. And I know we're gonna see each other a little more and more. You're part of the Business Bros family now.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. All right, ladies and gents. So if you guys need an estate planning, make sure you go to attorneyinheels.com. And later, when she adds more, we're going to go to attorneysinheels.com.
Well, actually, if you put it in, it takes you to the same place. Right?
So there you go. Plural or not plural. Attorneyinheels.com. That's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And I'm out.
All right. Bye, Facebook. Love you. Appreciate you. Have an awesome day.
Were you nervous?
A little bit. That was fun.